Stranger Things have finally put the world on pause by addressing the most emotional, debated, and deeply personal question fans have been asking since the series finale ended. What truly happened to Eleven, and what does her fate actually mean? This isn't just about whether a character lived or died. This is about legacy, sacrifice, trauma, identity, and the cost of growing up in a world that never gave you a choice. And now, with the creators finally breaking their silence and explaining the intention behind that haunting ending, it's clear that Eleven's story was never meant to be simple, comforting, or easy. The truth behind her ending is more layered, more haunting, and far more intentional than anyone expected. From the very beginning, Stranger Things positioned Eleven as something different. She wasn't introduced with confidence or power, but with fear. A child running barefoot through the rain, shaved head, hospital gown, no understanding of the world outside the walls she escaped. She didn't speak much, she didn't explain herself, and she didn't need to. Her silence told the story. Eleven wasn't just a kid with supernatural abilities, she was a living reminder of what happens when innocence is stolen, when authority goes unchecked, and when children are treated as experiments instead of human beings. As the audience got to know her, her powers were never the most important thing about her. What made Eleven unforgettable was her vulnerability. Watching her learn basic human concepts, friendship, trust, love, became one of the most emotional threads of the entire series. Simple moments like discovering music, choosing her own clothes, or understanding what it means to be cared for carried just as much weight as any monster fight. She wasn't learning how to save the world, she was learning how to exist in it. But with every season, that fragile sense of safety was challenged. Eleven's past never stayed buried. Hawkins Lab, the experiments, the trauma, it all followed her. Even when she tried to live a normal life, the scars were still there. Losing Hopper shattered her sense of security. Losing her powers stripped her of the one thing that made her feel useful. Being bullied reminded her that the outside world wasn't automatically kinder than the one she escaped. And yet, despite everything, she kept going. That's what made Eleven's journey so heartbreaking and inspiring at the same time. She didn't fight because she wanted to be special. She fought because she believed that if she could protect the people she loved, then maybe what was done to her had meaning. Maybe her suffering wasn't pointless. That belief carried her all the way to the final season. By the time the story reached its end, Hawkins was no longer just a nostalgic small town. It was broken, divided, and scarred by years of supernatural violence. The Upside Down was no longer hidden, it was invading reality. Vecna wasn't just another villain, he was the embodiment of everything wrong with the system that created Eleven, a product of abuse, neglect, and obsession with power. In many ways, he was what Eleven could have become if she had never found love. That's why the final confrontation mattered so much. It wasn't just about stopping a monster, it was about confronting the cycle of trauma itself. Eleven standing against Vecna wasn't just hero versus villain, it was survivor versus system. The finale understood this. It didn't rush toward explosions or easy victories. It slowed down. Conversations lingered. Silences stretched. Every goodbye felt heavier than the last because on some level, the characters knew this time was different. When Eleven walked into the Upside Down for the final time, there was a quiet finality to it. No speeches, no promises, just resolute. And when she made the choice to stay behind, to ensure the destruction of the Upside Down and everything connected to it, it felt devastatingly inevitable. A child who had never been given control over her life was finally making her own decision, even if that decision meant disappearing forever. Then came the silence. No confirmation, no clear answer, just absence. That absence hit fans hard. For some, it felt like losing a real person. Years of emotional investment came crashing down in that quiet ending. The time jump only deepened the pain. Hawkins was still standing, but it wasn't the same. The characters had grown older, more distant, weighed down by grief. Their laughter felt restrained. Their joy felt cautious. Eleven wasn't there, and the show made sure you felt that in every frame. Mike's story offered a sliver of hope. His words painted a picture of peace, a life away from fighting, a version of 11 untouched by fear, and the visuals that accompanied it were gentle, almost dreamlike. But the show never confirmed whether that image was truth or fantasy. That uncertainty wasn't a mistake, it was the point. When the creators finally spoke about the ending, they explained that 11's fate was never meant to be a clear answer. It was meant to reflect real life, where not every story ends with certainty, and not every loss comes with closure. They wanted the audience to feel the same confusion, hope, and grief that the characters felt. Confirming her survival would have turned her sacrifice into a technicality. Confirming her death would have closed the door completely. So they chose something braver, letting the story exist in between. They described 11's disappearance as a form of freedom. For the first time, no one is watching her, no one is testing her, no one is using her. Whether she lives on somewhere far away or exists only in memory, she is no longer defined by her powers or her pain. She is finally beyond the reach of the world that hurt her. Of course, this explanation didn't end the debate, it intensified it. Fans dissected every detail of the finale. They argued over symbolism, lighting, dialogue, and framing. Some found comfort in believing 11 survived. Others believed her death gave the story its emotional truth. Social media became flooded with reactions: grief, anger, admiration, frustration. The ending became one of the most talked about conclusions in television history. The cast felt that weight too. For them, Stranger Things wasn't just a show, it was their childhood. Growing up on set, forming lifelong friendships, and then saying goodbye to it all was emotionally overwhelming. Millie Bobby Brown has spoken about how deeply personal 11 was to her, how the character shaped her adolescence and identity. Letting go wasn't easy. The final days of filming were filled with tears, long embraces, and a shared sense of loss. That authenticity is why the ending resonates so deeply. The pain you feel watching it is real, because the emotions behind it were real too. Looking back, 11's fate reframes the entire series. Stranger Things was always about growing up too fast, about facing darkness before you're ready, and about learning that some battles leave permanent marks. 11's story embodies all of that. She never got a normal childhood. She never got simple choices. Her ending, as ambiguous as it is, finally gives her something she was always denied: agency. And maybe that's the point. In a world obsessed with clear answers and definitive endings, Stranger Things chose restraint. It trusted its audience. It allowed the story to live on through interpretation, discussion, and emotion. 11's fate remains suspended between hope and loss, just like so many real-life experiences. Years from now, fans will still talk about this ending. They'll rewatch it, they'll argue about it, they'll feel it all over again. And that enduring emotional response proves one thing: 11's story didn't end with silence, it ended with meaning. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.